Society of Engineers, Engineer Funmilola Ojelade, FNSC. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Bosede, for the introduction, and thank you for the work you do for us in broadcasting APWEN in a very good light. I would like to appreciate my chairman, Engineer Jonadu, for inviting me to share this experience. Well, before I start, I would like to recognize the presence of some APWEN members that are here that I cannot just begin to talk and overlook them. The first person here is Engineer Nwakego Monica Ojukwu, a founding member of APWEN and also the 10th president of our great association. These are the shoulders on whom I stand. I welcome you, madam. I would also like to appreciate, I also like to recognize the presence of the 15th president of APWEN, that is the immediate past president, the magical Dr. Felicia Nena Gubata. She's in the house. I recognize you, madam. We also have here the wife of the Deputy Governor of Delta States, Engineer Xperience, a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Thank you for joining us, madam. We also have here the chairman of OVEROP, Engineer Adekunle Adepaju, a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Thank you very much for coming. Of course, we have some chairmen and our zonal administrators. I appreciate everyone who has joined. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen? Please confirm if you see the screen.
Yes. Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I have very few slides here, just about 6 or 7, and I'll just run you briefly through, will I say, my life from my home, where I grew up, and then my education, and my experience working, and also joining APWEN, and then I'll give a few tips, a few life tips that I've picked up along the line. Okay, this is the family where I grew up. I'm number 2, we are 6, we have only 1 boy. And I'm the second in line in that family. So we have 5 girls and one boy. And I needed to show this because this man here has been a great influence in my life. He's my life coach and cheerleader. And a lot of things that I've done and I've become has influenced, he has had a lot of influence on it, including the work I do in APWEN, my school. We went to virtually the same schools, primary, secondary, universities. It's like he was holding me all along. So that's him. His name is Bayo. And this is my education. I graduated from the Obafemi Awolowo University for my first degree, where I studied chemical engineering. And how did I get to study chemical engineering? it was not something that I deliberately planned. Growing up, our parents decided a lot of things. My father would usually just look at the subjects that you are best in, and then choose something for you. We normally fill the JAM form together, and the only subjects I passed well were those that could do engineering. But how did I end up in chemical? Because my brother said, let us study chemical because there are many girls there. That was the only reason I went there. He was studying civil in the same university at that time. And with the benefit of hindsight now, I think if I were to choose by myself, I'll probably have chosen to study civil or to study mechanical, because I find those ones more intuitive than chemical engineering. Then at the University of Lagos, I studied the same course, chemical, and I had a master's in chemical engineering. And very recently, I obtained a master's degree in business and management at the Harvard University. And this is how I've progressed. I did my youth service at the Benue Cement Company in Boko. I was actually working as a chemical engineer even during youth service. Then the next place was Ajakuta Steel Company Limited. So we've all heard of Ajakuta Steel Company, the giants that never rose. It was a very big, which is still a very big expanse of land that is taken over there. Very big steel manufacturing complex. And what we had there was basically a steel city. You could stay the whole year. You can stay 10 years in that place without going anywhere. Everything you needed was there. They gave us accommodation. There was hospital there. There were banks there, everything. And it was really far away. Okene was the closest town there then. And I think, I'm not sure it could have been up to 50 or 60 kilometers. So we're just there on our own, doing our own thing. We had our own post office, everything that we had there. Just that we're not producing the steel. We're producing, I was working with the power generating plants, because we are producing our own electricity, which we could not finish using. So we sold to NEPA. Really, I don't know if they sold it, but I know that we had to shed load to NEPA. So I spent just 2 years there and I left because there was just nothing to do there other than to just wake up and take your salary and all that. But I left. That arrow there was when I went to do my master's at the University of Lagos. I took a study leave without pay because I had just spent 2 years, and I went to do a master's degree. And after that, I went into ICT for a few years. I was running a computer school, a computer training school, and a business center. For a few years. I also worked for another company, another ICT company. And then here after that ICT company was in Abuja. So when I got a job with that ICT company, I moved to Abuja. And I got married in Abuja. And afterwards, I got a job with the Mint. And that was when I went back to my chemical engineering. The Mint is a quasi-government establishment. What that means is that we act like government, we act like private. We are private in the sense that we generate our own revenue, and that is how the company is run. You have to produce and sell your products, and then it is that money that staff salaries are paid and every other emolument that is required. The Mint does not get any subvention whatsoever from the government. So sometimes when we need to do things, they will tell us we are government, but For example, I'll give an example. When I was in Abuja and during the sale of houses, and we wanted to bid for some houses, and we told them we are civil servants and this is what we want. And they plainly told us that we are not government workers. And so we wonder who are we really? Well, that is how the Mint operates. The Mint is the only company I know, or only organization I know in Nigeria, who did not close for a single day last year. Throughout that lockdown, the factories were open. The only thing we did was that they shared staff into half. That is, you come, those who are in the sense, those who are in the factory, we cut them by half, and they had them to come 1 week on and 1 week off. But the factory didn't shut down for a single day. So I started there in 2001 in research and development. And then afterward, I moved to policy control. I worked in production planning, in procurement. I worked in projects when another currency line was being constructed in Abuja and new machines were being installed. I was in projects, and now I'm in production. We have two production types. We have the security documents, where we produce checks, examination papers, certificates like the NSC certificate, the Korean certificates. They are printed in the Mint. And then we now have the part that produces the currency. And for those who still doubt, we actually produce Nigeria's currency in the Mint in Nigeria. There are times in the past when we have imported, but we produce it here 100%. And then my journey with APWEN, as you heard in my profile, I joined APWEN in the year 2003 in Abuja. Before I got to Abuja in 2003, I never participated in NSC or APWEN or anything, and that is because the places where I worked, I didn't need to be a member of NSC or Korean or anything to get promoted or to get any recognition. So I didn't really put my mind in it. When I was in Ajakuta, I was actually about to do my NSC corporate examination before I left, but I didn't do it. So I didn't but when I got to Abuja, I met an old friend, Engineer Valerie Agberagba. She was then the chairman of APWEN Abuja. And then she saw me one day and she told me about APWEN and invited me for the meeting. And that was how I joined. And I've thoroughly enjoyed every bit of my work in APWEN. After the first year, I was technical secretary. Then in 2011, I became the chairman of the chapter. In 2018, I was vice president of APWEN. And now, by the grace of God, I'm the president of the association. So that is, in brief, my journey. And I would just like to say a few things that I've learned along the line. The first one is that your passion prevails ultimately. And I give you a short story about that. I told you that I studied chemical engineering because my brother said study chemical engineering. But before I got into chemical engineering, I had been in the university for a year and then had to do JAMB again. What happened was that my first attempt at JAMB, we normally pick two. My father sits with us and then we'll pick it. We'll pick the subjects that we'll do. So I think it was food science and technology because we are basically sciences and engineering related sciences in my family, at least half of the family, I would say. So my first choice that my daddy picked for me was food science and technology. And then he now said, Funmilola, I don't really trust the way you study. I think we should pick education mathematics for your second choice. And I didn't like that, but since it was second choice, I said, well, nobody even looks at second choice. So when the JAM came out, that time you go to the university to go and check it. There were no internet like now. And then when we went to food science and tech, my name was not on the board. As we were going home, my daddy said, let us check education. I said, education, what are we going to do there? Lo and behold, we got there and my name was there, education mathematics. I broke down. I wept from Ife, to Ibadan. I was crying. I said, Daddy, I cannot study. I'm not going to study education mathematics. My father now said, okay, don't worry. You are going to, when you finish year one, you can change, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I think that's the first time I would hear somebody gain admission and be crying. So when after year one, I didn't bother. I collected the change of course form, but I didn't trust that I'll be able to change it. So I did JAMB at the same time. And then that was when I got into chemical engineering as my first choice. And I was admitted to study chemical engineering. But where am I going? Why did I say your passion prevails? Because I realized that I actually have a passion to teach. So that is probably why I found myself there as in that second choice. And now I'm working with APWEN, which is an educational and service organization. So that education just keeps coming back into my life. And I see that there are many, the places where the work I've done that has given me most satisfaction have been the work that I've done in APWEN, whether in Abuja or in Lagos or anything. Things that impact knowledge into people is what has actually given me the most satisfaction. So I see that even though I ran from education many years ago, I still found myself in it, even as an engineer. The second one, my sister, I think the fifth, I'm number 2, she's number 5. When she was also preparing to do JAM, like I said, my father would pick the JAM form, we would sit with him, and she was in natural science, she was into physics, chemistry, mathematics, even though she had A's in all the subjects that she did. So it was engineering she really wanted to study. So my brother had studied engineering, I was studying engineering. My mother wanted a doctor in the house. So she stood somewhere far away and was shouting, that girl must not study engineering. She was shouting, So my father decided, okay, what are we going to pick? The girl said she couldn't study medicine. She doesn't like biology, even though she had an A in it. So that was how she came into technology, Faculty of Technology, where engineering is, studied computer science with economics. And that was what I knew how to study. But today, she's practicing as a software engineer. Somehow along the line, she still found herself in that engineering. So what I'm saying is that your passion always prevails ultimately. So even if you have found yourself in a place where you think this is not where I really should be, I'd like you to know that that passion, that thing in you is going to ultimately come out, and you'll be able to to get along and make good impact. Another thing you need to do is to pick up currencies as you go. Some currencies that you want to pick up is expertise. In whatever line that you have chosen, you need to continuously learn about it, continuously study about it until you become an expert at it. You need to know, expertise is a currency that people will always point when they need somebody for that thing. They will remember that this person does this thing very well. And unless you continue to practice it and continue to get better at it, you just fizzle out like an ordinary person, and it's not a good way to go. Another currency is track record, which is something like expertise in a way, but track record is that let you be known for something. You can have a track record for when they say, oh, if you give this person an assignment, you can go to bed. That's a track record. So you need to have something that you are doing very well, and that people can say, she's an expert at this, he's an expert at this. You need that track record. Another one is visibility. And this visibility, there are people, it depends on your, your kind of nature can also go into this. There are people that are extroverts and they are introverts. I'm an introvert. It might not be so obvious because someone will be like, you're an introvert. How did you become the APWEN president? How did you get there? But visibility is making yourself seen. And you don't need to make noise or talk at every time. One way you can do it, especially in your place of work, is you get a position where you are that needs you to relate with a lot of people within the organization. For example, when I was in procurement, it gave me a lot of visibility because it's not only customers from outside who want to have access to me, even the management, rely on me to give them information. The staff rely on me to give them their materials that they use for production. And that was a time that I really enjoyed.
Okay, you have come. Okay. Where's Samuel? He has gone home. Okay. Okay.
So that was a time that I really enjoyed working in the mint, when I was in that place. And the visibility is still something that I enjoy today because the track record, that visibility enabled me to, the track record that I had was now visible to a lot of people, the kind of work I could do and how that it is, if you give me an assignment or if they need anything and I'm involved, they're sure that they're going to get it. So I was able to get that, and it's something that works well for you. Like I said, not everybody, like I grew up a shy person, and so visibility is not something that comes natural to me. When I was growing up as a child, I remember whenever a visitor came into the house, I will always run away and go and hide, and my mother had a name she used to call me because of that, and essentially I'm still a lot like that today. If I go into a crowd where there are a lot of people, I will just sneak to a corner and I will just go and sit down. Without greeting anybody, I will just go and sit down there quietly. It makes me, a lot of people, I pass off as a snob to many people because of that she just sends her, she did not greet anybody. So when I hear people say someone is a snob, the first thing I say to myself is that she's probably a shy person they do not know. Maybe that's why they are misunderstanding her like that. But one of the things you can also do, like I said, this visibility, and if there is any good work that you are doing, don't do it in a corner. Let people see it. Even if it's in your place of work. Like the other day, one of the executive directors, the secretary told me, madam, you should be coming to see the ED once in a while. I said, for what? He said, no, just come in and just say hello. This thing, you're just hiding, and a lot of people are not, well, it's not my nature, that is really, but I know she was right. That is actually the way to make yourself seen, make yourself known, so that if there's an opportunity, they remember you. When you're looking for somebody to do something, you need to remember the person before you can invite them to come and do it. But if you don't ever see the person, you won't even think of inviting them. The second life lesson, another life lesson, the third one really is to be aware of your weaknesses. What you can do is sometimes more important than what you can do. And it's when you try to do one of your weaknesses, that is when you usually fail. Like I said, one thing that came to my mind when I was writing this, I call myself the luckiest APWEN president, and I'll say that again and again, because I took over from someone who is very vibrant, who did a lot of great work, and helped me along the way, even while she was the president. But we are different. She's a social person and an extrovert. I'm not a social person in any way, and I'm an introvert. So while I have been toying, there are a lot of things she has taught me and mentored me about, and I do a lot of things because I remember that, oh, Engineer Guata did this, used to do this, okay? But some of them just don't fit with my personality because I'm an introvert. When I think last year, January, during the investiture of the NSC president, I had not yet done my investiture at that time. So we were there, and so she was taking me around. She would say that I needed to go and greet these people, that you need to make yourself seen, you need to make yourself shown. So she would hold me in the hand and we'll go together. I'm a shy person. I really don't want to do that, okay? But that is the way that she has been able to endear herself to the hearts of so many people because she's warm, she greets you, she respects you, and she makes you feel wanted. Okay? So she was taking me around and we were going around. And then when she left before me and she told me, okay, this person is coming, I should greet them when they come. I said, okay, I've had
They are doing fumigation. Have they come? Right.
Okay. But the moment she left, I just went and sat back in my corner because I was most comfortable doing that. So where am I going? The way that she has handled APWEN is different than the way that I'm handling APWEN. And somehow, I would say the lockdown of the coronavirus has kind of worked in the favor of my own kind of personality, okay? Because while she likes to go out and be warm and play around and make everybody feel wanted, I like to just be locked down. So I was kind of comfortable, and I was able to find my niche doing that. So where am I going? If you know you have a weakness, don't force yourself to be somebody else. Because if you force yourself to be somebody else, that particular, you will not succeed in that line. Another thing here is goals and dreams help get you out of bed every morning. So you have goals, you have dreams. One way to make sure that your goals happen is to write them down. I've practiced this over and over again, and it has worked. Sometimes I get very lazy, and I don't feel just like writing it down. But I find out that anytime I write down my goals and I rewrite them, so as to, the good thing about rewriting them is that it keeps them in your memory. So when the opportunity comes that can make that goal come true, you see it because somehow it's at the back of your mind all the time. You keep saying it. So you have goals, you have dreams, write them down. It helps to get you out of bed. You have something that you want to live for. Like recently, I've been feeling a little low, and I needed to just get myself up. And one of the things I did, I got my calendar for the year and I started to write the things I needed to do. As I was writing them, I was feeling a little energy creep into me. So your goals and your dreams, when you write them down, it helps to get you out of bed. And the last one I would say here is that you should understand the politics of it all. There's a lot of politics that goes on everywhere. It goes on in your house, it goes on in the association, it goes on in your place of work. I am not a political person. I'll say that, but I know that you really cannot go far if you do not engage in those politics. Of course, there are some politics that are dirty and are not good. For example, you are in a place of work, some people, because they know how to lie and make mouth. They will run around, and when there is time for promotion, they take them and they place them higher, even though they not even qualify for the place where they have been taken. That is not the kind of politics I'm talking about. Okay, but like this lady telling me, Madam, I think you should just pop in once in a while and say hello to Oga. That is a kind of office politics, you know. I'm like, I don't really have anything to tell him when we said, no, Madam, just come, just come. Many people come like that, just come and just say hello. You don't have to stay, you don't have to do anything, just come and just say hello. And so those are things that I've had to learn, you know, in a difficult way, because a number of times promotion has passed me because I didn't play the politics. I would just do my work, and many times, like I said, because I'm shy, because I'm an introvert, I don't even, I would say they should see the effect is there without, I don't bring myself out, you know, and that is not a very good thing to do. So I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Funmilola Ojelade, FNSC. We're grateful to you. A round of applause for her, please. Awesome. So, thank you. So we are now in the Q&A section of the event. So I'll call on Engineer Abosede Oyekunle to take that session as well. Or do you want to yield to Engineer Bolanle Giwa?
Thank you, sir. Engineer Bolanle Giwa. I know she's online. Okay. While Engineer Bolanle is trying to get ready, let me appreciate our president once again, Engineer Funmilola Ojelade, for using, like I said, with technology, we call her the digital president. With technology, you can never get it wrong. With 6 slides, she was able to break down our profile in a better way than I had read it as a citation. Congratulations, ma'am, for that information and mentoring session that you have handled with your life experience. Allow me to, while Engineer Bolanle Giwa is getting ready, allow me to acknowledge Engineer Unoli, our past president of APWEN. I can see her hand already up. So with the approval of the chairman, permit me to call her as she speaks while Engineer Bolanle Giwa coordinates the question and answer session if she's available to do that.
Please proceed by all means. Thank you.
Thank you very much, NSC Victoria Island branch, for this lovely opportunity of us to showcase our digital president. And I want to thank Funmilola for showing up and showing herself in an authentic light. She has spoken from her heart. I really appreciate her. She's more like a little sister to me. Everybody knows that, in case you didn't know. And I think she has told us things that are very salient and germane. I want to emphasize the authenticity part of leadership. When she talked about you can't try to be somebody that you are not, it's of utmost importance. And there's nothing wrong with being who you are. Who you are is authentic, and people can see that and appreciate that. I really appreciate you, Funmilola, for this mentoring session, for coming out and being honest and open about a lot of the things that are going well, challenges people might be facing, because all of us have these challenges. And what you said today will help a lot of us to move ahead and to succeed in our various spheres of endeavor. So I just want to say again, thank you, my digital president, and God bless you real good.
Thank you. Thank you, Engineer Noli, as the 13th president of APWEN. Thank you very much, my big sis.
Thank you very much, Ma. I was actually trying to, that's one of my process improvement that I need to know. Engineer Funmilola practically has the record, or that's when she tells you that you write down some of your, not even some, your goals, what you want to achieve. I can imagine she has written down she wanted to become APWEN president. So for you to do that, that means you must have the chronological details or chronicles of those that are gone ahead of you. With ease, she acknowledged Engineer Unoli as the 13th president of APWEN. Thank you very much, Ma. While I'm waiting for people to show by raise of hand if you have questions, I'll go into the chat box and start with few things that I'm able to pick. Please, if I don't read yours, please, I apologize. I'm just going to pick it off randomly. I have one from Engineer Adekunle Adebaju, that's from Overroop, her keen supporter of APWEN from Overroop. He says, brilliant, succinct, honest, and full of wisdom. Absolutely awesome. Well done, our dear Engineer Funmilola Ojelade. From Dr. Sunday Pokuola of NSC UK, I know he's the past chairman. What an amazing presentation from our president, the digital president. I'm inspired by those words of wisdom and those personal things of yours. Engineer Nwakego Ojukwu FNSC, well done, my president, my digital president. Engineer Rose Uguanigo, congratulations to Engineer Funmilola Ojelade. She appreciates your frankness and the richness of your experience. Engineer Mojirade Oloruntoba, FNSC, a past ESCO member of Nigerian Society of Engineers. That was a fantastic presentation, my president. There's nothing really like being oneself. May the good Lord continue to uphold you. I've seen quite a number of hands. So I'll start with, okay, I read your comment, but I will still call you. Please, in a minute, your question or your comment. Let me start with Anita Olanipekun, then I will go and call others. Anita Olanipekun, please, brief about yourself, then you ask your question or your comment.
Thank you very much, Ma. Yes, Anita Olanipekun, I graduated from Adeleke University, Mechanical Engineering last year, July. And I really enjoyed Engineer Funmilola Ojelade's presentation. And I would like to ask, like, on the expertise and track record, I know that we could develop ourselves via internship positions and also by doing a few courses. But for people that, okay, maybe they are looking for internship positions, they're still looking out for job positions, how can they develop a track record and build their expertise for entry-level roles?
Thank you very much. My president, do you want to take that or we take other questions?
Yeah. I will just take it quickly that when you say track record, when you say expertise, that's not something you build in a day. That's something that you build in years. That's something that you do. When you say somebody has a track record, for example, these people that, what's this man that plays golf, you know, when you say something is a track record, because he has won again and again and again and again, that's when it becomes a track record. It doesn't become a track record when you do it once or twice. So for entry level, you cannot get that. That's why I said pick up currencies as you go. It's not a currency. It's not a currency in your hand at the beginning. No, it's a currency that you pick up as you go. So when you get the work, and one way I can say is that now you say you are still looking for a job, entry level position, and so on. You are looking for a job, entry level position, and so on. One of the things you can do that can give you visibility and this track record is expertise. Sorry, is volunteering. You know, like now you don't have a particular job that you are doing. When I was in APWEN Abuja, I had a few people who didn't have jobs, and they were volunteering to work on APWEN programs. and I made them project directors of some of the programs we were doing. One of them, she was project director for the tree planting program, APWEN tree planting program that we did in Abuja. Another person was project director for the, we call it engineering, that is career talk to higher institutions, that is universities. And they were doing this thing with so much passion and with so much energy that I know them. The track record they built with me is that if I give them an assignment, they're going to do it. Okay, 2 of those people now are those that I've chosen as zonal administrators in APWEN now that I'm president. They worked for me 7 years ago and they built that track record. It was a job they were doing without pay. It was volunteer work. And volunteer work can really help you to discover your passion. Because if you are doing it voluntarily and you are enjoying it, then that is your passion. If you are not enjoying it, you can say, Kai, I don't like this thing, I'm going to stop. Okay. So for entry level, you may not be able to get a track record until you have worked for a while. I hope that satisfies your question.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Welcome. Engineer Bosede, are you?
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you, Anita. Engineer Edmond Kalu, FNSC, all the way from Enugu, is saying a well presentation by President, and thank you for that presentation. Allow me to call on Engineer Adekunle Adebajo, FNSC of Overrope. I like to use the word of Overrope because I know the positions are a lot and I wouldn't want to call the wrong one. Sir, you have the floor. You can unmute your mic.
Thank you very much indeed, and good evening, everybody. I think I had mentioned in the chat box how awesome the presentation is, so I just would say again, congratulations. I was particularly moved by how frank the talk was. A couple of points. I was very intrigued by this, your career choice in terms of, I mean, you gave us a good understanding of the what led you into chemical engineering, but I know you did mention that in hindsight, you may well have considered civil or mechanical. So I just want, for those, I suppose the younger ones, I wonder if there is a word you can say regarding the conflict between satisfaction, getting job satisfaction for what you're doing, and looking at more at the commercial and the opportunistic view of career selection. So you might well say, well, I want a profession that I'm sure I can do something on my own, etc., vis-a-vis versus what really will give me job satisfaction. The second point is that I definitely would concur with you about that. Whatever you do, you must find your own niche and pursue it and enhance it as much as possible. I think it's something which will always, in fact, even more so now in this our competitive world, if you can do something well, it doesn't matter what you do, you are almost certainly going to be a success. I do, however, want to ask you a question. Because you've been so frank, you've more or less, as it were, exposed yourself to us. I wonder if, bearing in mind the APWEN aspects of it and the gender, whether you can tell us a little bit about any challenges you may have had being a female, and how you are able to overcome that. Because I know that the whole issue of sexual harassment, sexual discrimination, etc., tends to also play a role in certain people's professions and careers. So I will stop there, but I will also just say that I was extremely excited when the major theme of your talk was talking about picking up currencies, because I hope you don't pick up currency in in the mint there. I'm sure you know what will happen to you. So thank you very much. Congratulations on a beautiful presentation.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for joining us. Well, as for being a female engineer, I would not say that I've had so much challenges that is out of place that any woman would have. For sexual harassment, I must say that I've not had it in the course of my work. You know, I am trying to think whether there's been any time that such has hindered me. You know, I don't think so. The only thing I may say is when I needed to get a promotion sometime, it wasn't really a promotion, it was an appointment to a post. I want to believe that being a woman was one of the reasons why it was easy for them to drop me, but not just being a woman. Most importantly was the politics in it. There was some politics they were playing, they needed to play, and I would not fit into that role, to that political role. So that was why I believe I didn't get it. But for being a woman, I've never really felt out of place. You know, whether I'm the only woman, I just keep doing my thing. I don't feel different, and I don't feel harassed.
And the issue about satisfaction versus sense, commercial sense.
Oh, okay. That is, as in concerning the work that I do. I didn't quite get your question there. You were saying about how I chose chemical engineering, and then if I was satisfied, or whether it was because of the money, or what was it?
Okay, well, I'll just put it again. You did say, and I think I even wrote it down, that your passion prevails. Yeah. And I know that this is something which I would always agree with, that as an engineer, I may not make as much money as I could make if I was in business of some kind, but every morning I am excited to wake up and go to work, and I am excited to look back at the accomplishments of my hands. So I just wonder if there is anything that you can say about the dilemma between picking something because it will give you satisfaction versus picking something because that's where people should go in, that's where you can make your money, etc., etc.
Okay, I get it. Actually, it's easy to fall for the money prey, but if it is not something that gives you satisfaction, you will not even be able to make the money that as much as you would have made if you are doing something that gives you satisfaction or something that you are passionate about. Because you do it even when you get the money, there is still that sense of loss that you'll be feeling. It's not a feeling that money can throw away, that money can help you to get over. You know, there are things that money just cannot help you to get over. So when you do things purely for money, and then you are not satisfied, you are still not a happy person, and you really cannot enjoy whatever money you are making if you are not happy, because your sorrow will be deep-seated, and nobody can put their hand on it. So I would say, while you may want to look at money, but also look at how to find money in the place where you have satisfaction. That is the way I would put it.
Okay.
Am I okay, sir?
100%. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you very much, Mal, for your response. Allow me to say I really heard this when Engineer Adebayo was saying it, that currency. I remember one of the days when I had to go to see you in your office, the security process of getting to see you would not even allow anybody in or out to be able to sneak out with a currency of Nigeria. And so I don't know how those Ghana must go outside escapes. But inside there, I know she's not able to sneak out any currency. Thank you very much. So I would also want to add this to support my president. I remember I heard it in one, I believe probably they didn't think engineers were there, in a business school, that when your passion is not paying the bills, look for a commercial thing that pays the bills and use that bill to fuel what your passion would do for you. So for those of us that are young engineers, don't throw away your passion as you're trying to pay the bills. When you get something that pay the bills, it will also help you fuel what you are passionate about. I'd like to call on Professor Kende. Dr. Pupola, please allow me to call Engineer Dr. Pupola, please. So I follow the order.
Thank you very much. I was wondering that whether you're going to skip me and stop me.
I won't do that.
My sister, Funmilola, amazing. We met last year when you made the presentation at Xperience in London on inspiring.
We can't hear you again.
We can't hear you, sir. We can't hear
you again.
Oh, sorry. That was it. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sir.
All right. Sorry about that. I was saying we met last year online virtually when you made a presentation London branch and NSC on the inspire of new generation of women, not just women, innovative women engineers. And I was seriously, I've been playing that to my young people around me since then. It's really amazing, very impactful, because you're being authentic self. Each time I go and make a presentation, I always try and look for something that would describe me differently. But you have been very open. You've been very, I don't know how to describe it. You've been frank and authentic self. And I find that very, very interesting. And I'm learning a lot from that. So thank you very much. So following on from being your authentic self, if you look back, I'm not going to ask you for your age. If you look back maybe about 30, 40 years ago, what advice will you give to your younger self?
I think I wasn't focused enough. You know, I think that's one thing. I wasn't focused enough, so I didn't quite know where I was going. You know, if I was to live, be there again, I think I would be a little more focused by studying harder, because school and book was all that we knew at that time. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I know that in studying and being focused, the things that you are or that you should be have a way of being attracted to you.
Yeah.
So you will actually be able to know where you are going when you are more focused. If it's your education, okay, I just want to study all the time and make sure that I get good grades, and then so those things can actually help to point you in a direction. So for my younger self, I think I will be more. I would want to be more focused.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Right. General Bossede, you want to try?
Professor Taiwo Kehinde, sorry, Kehinde Taiwo. Professor Kehinde Taiwo raised her hand earlier.
Okay.
I would like her to ask a question. She is still online. Professor Kehinde Taiwo was my senior in Ife when I was in year 5, our final year. She was studying for her master's degree, and she came to do a course in chemical engineering. So, Professor Kehinde, her hand is raised. Maybe she's not there. Engineer Bosede, can you also?
Professor Kehinde Taiwo. Okay, if she's not, I can see Engineer Lola Adetono, FNSC, past chairman of NICE Lagos chapter. Engineer Lola, can you speak, please?
Thank you very much. Good evening, my digital president. Good evening to my able chairman, VI branch engineer John Aldu. Good evening to all the distinguished members and fellows on the platform. Engineer Funmilola, let me first comment that you're very beautiful and confident. Thank God I got you to smile. You are looking so serious. Well, I'm happy that I'm part of this training. I actually shared the flyers with our Young Engineers platform. We have a platform of young engineers, and I've been looking for a way to inspire them, to mentor them. And all that you've said today, I've actually tried to screen grab the pages on the screen and try and see how we can package it together. The part I do not really understand is when you try to be one of your weaknesses, then you fail. And I had to sit down and say, what exactly are my weaknesses? What exactly are your weaknesses? You said you wished you were more focused. I don't know how to even be as focused as you are already, but I would ask on this platform, because I know you will not say no, that we invite you to our own Young Engineers platform to give us a talk also. Engineer Aldi, I know you are listening and you are like planning a response for me. I know she will not say no on this platform. So I'm asking, please, madam, my digital president, that you give us the honor of having your presence at one of our own Young Engineers platforms so you can inspire the young ones. I am the matron for the NICESA Southwest region, which is the NICE students affiliate for all the chapters in the Southwest, which is about 7 or 8, and they have 34 universities. How do you reach out to all the ladies in these zones? How do you make them outstanding? I shared the flyer. I don't know how many of them joined, but we need more of you. So it's not only NSCVI that can have you. Please look to the right-hand side and give us some little favors as well. Thank you, Ma.
My namesake, you appear to have forgotten that you're an APWEN member. You don't need to cajole me or beg me. I will come. Just say I should come. That is what I do for a living. Mentoring people and encouraging the younger ones.
Thank you very much.
I enjoy doing it. You don't really have to take permission from NSCVI. NSCVI does not own me. APWEN owns me. You are first. You are APWEN.
You should see me doing thumbs up. Engineer John, did you hear that?
You own me.
All right. I think
you have more rights. You have more rights over me than NSCVI.
Thank you very much.
That remains to be seen. Engineer, you have 1 or 2 more questions so that we can wrap up real quick?
Yes, there are 2 more people that I have their hands up. But before I call them, there is a young engineer, Simon Alale, who posted on the chat box that is a young graduate of electronics engineering, and he wants to learn how to grow into the profession and all that. So I would like our technical secretary to send a correspondence how people can reach him or how people can reach VI branch. I know VI branch does mentoring very well. I'm a product of VI branch mentoring days in 2012. So I know it's what we do well as a branch. So Engineer Duru, if you're here, or Engineer Chinelo, kindly provide means of communicating via email, phone, address, or whatever channel for people. You have quite a number of young engineers that are here. I also share this with our Young Engineers Forum. In fact, Anita Olanepekun is on another platform of a Young Engineer Forum, and she asked the question, which is one of the things we are telling them: come up and ask questions from the experienced people. So for the next 2 people I'll be calling, please be as brief as possible. Engineer Bolanle Giwa. I wish Engineer Professor Taiwo is able to speak, but I can't see her online. So I'll call on Engineer Bolanle Giwa, and I think, oh, she's back online.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, Engineer Bolanle Giwa, FNSC, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Engineer Bofede, and congratulations to my president, Engineer Ojelade, FNSC. Thank you. Very good presentation. So just one question from me. In the context of current realities, especially with COVID-19 and the associated impacts, how would you advise our young engineers to stay inspired? Did you get that?
That in the light of the COVID-19, how will I encourage them to stay inspired?
Yes.
Well, one thing I see about being inspired is that you need to have a way of doing that by yourself. Not nobody can really, fully inspire you, okay? But one of the ways that they can get inspired is, number one, you don't draw into yourself. For example, now I know that even though we're not having physical meetings and all that, all the NSC and APWEN chapters and branches, they still have their meetings, they still have their programs. Okay, so you need to find a way to network and socialize the best way that you can. Don't just draw into yourself. Look for how to meet people and how to make yourself visible. One thing I mentioned was volunteering. Okay, you attend a meeting and they ask somebody to say the opening prayer, for example. You just stand up and just say it. The feeling that you have done something, that feeling gives you a little satisfaction when you finally sit down. So you have to be deliberate in doing that, making yourself seen and volunteering to do something. It's in that process of volunteering that you're going to come across someone or something that you really like to do. You're going to hear something that will really inspire you, that will help you to go on. But you need to make that deliberate effort every day by yourself.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so I will take the last person, which is Engineer Professor Kende Taiwo. I would really love her to speak if her network allows it.
She needs to unmute herself.
Is she muted?
She was. Okay. Let me see if I can.
I think she's on. She's not muted now.
So she's on now.
Okay.
She's on, but I think device or network has a challenge. So if she can hear us, ma'am, kindly type your question or comment in the chat box, and I believe during the course of this program to the end, the chairman would probably read this as we conclude. So I'd like to hand over to Engineer John Howdu, FNSC Chairman of Nigerian Society of Engineers, Victoria Island Branch. But before I do that, allow me to specially recognize a key supporter of my president, in no other person than the Vice President of the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, Engineer Dr. Elizabeth Eterigo, FNSC. She's been on this call from the beginning till now. Thank you very much, ma'am, for ever showing us the support. She is online, ma'am.
I didn't see her.
Thank you, Engineer Bofede, my president. Well done. That was a good one.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I didn't see you on time.
I'm proud of you, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm very proud of you too. Thank you very much. You're a great helper.
All right, it's my pleasure. Yes.
You should not forget the APWEN among you. Ezioku is an APWEN, and she is here.
FNSC. So, Engineer John, how do you have the floor, sir?
Thank you very much. Once again, I want to say a big thank you for the great outing, for the wonderful people that are here in our midst. Our branches are honored by all of you. Professor Kehinde Taiwo has written a comment here that I'm just going to read out now. She said, just to say the young students can develop a track record even as students, what do they have to show for their time in school? So I'll read it again. Just to say that the young students can develop a track record even as students, what do they have to show for their time in school? So I guess it's
I think I understand what she's saying. That track record does not necessarily when you start working.
Were they active in the society? Or are they active in the society? Stuff like that. So I guess if you understand what she's saying, to give her a brief response, please. Thank you. Do you have a response for her?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I didn't know you wanted me to respond. Yes, I was saying that I totally agree with what she's saying. She's a lecturer, and students build track record even while they're in school with their with the people that are supervising them. Okay, you know some students that this one is a lazy one. There are some it's parties that they do that they like to go, but when it's exam they crash and then they just manage a D or a C. So that track record, that's hard work of a person actually starts from even when you are in school. I think that's what she's trying to say. So if she has to pick maybe like a graduate assistant or something, and the student comes whom she knew was a lazy person, that track record is going to speak, and she would not want to pick such a person. That is what I understand by what she's saying, that you need to build that track record even when you are in school.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So we're just about run out of time now, but before I hand over to Engineer Chinelo to present you with your honor code, I just have a few comments to make about Engineer Funmilola Ojelade. From my interactions with her over the last couple of years, I have come to observe that she wants to make believe that she's an introvert. But there's a paradox here, because I've never seen an introvert who has such a rock star status as you do. You attract people from all corners of the globe, yet to say you're an introvert. How you do that is a big subject for discussion. We should come and learn from you. So that's one. I also want to let the House be aware that she forgot to say something that has been obvious to many of us for a long time. We call her headmistress. We call her headmistress because if you give her a document to review, it's going to come back red-lined on every page and every line. She's one of the most thorough reviewers I've ever seen in all of my years of experience, and they span many decades. I just wanted to put that out there. And finally, Engineer Ojelade, I want you to be aware that there are two qualities that stand out in you, and they were all visibly displayed today. The first and foremost quality, or maybe I should say virtue, is the fact that you are extremely humble. Despite all of your accomplishments and your qualifications, you've managed to retain that humility. Keep it up, and God bless you. I want the House to be aware that she's probably one of the most intelligent engineers in this country. In spite of her seemingly introvertic nature, she's a very, very, very intelligent human being. And we should look out for her. I'm very sure she's going to go places. Thank you very much once again for honoring us.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll call on Chinelo Okafor now. Engineer Chinelo Okafor, please share your screen and present Engineer Ojelade with our honor code.
Good evening, distinguished engineers.
I'm happy to have the honor to share the honor code to our APWEN presidents. My name is Funmilola. I'm the Assistant General Secretary of NSCVI branch. Before I continue, I want to say that I've really learned a lot in this session, and one of them is to be visible. Because the chairman told me and said, you do someone else. So I'm like, man, I learned a lot.
We can't hear you clearly. We can't hear you clearly. Your voice is breaking. I think, is it your network or something? And the certificate is also not showing clearly.
Chairman, sir.
Yeah, you can make it smaller. Maybe it will show clearer. It's not showing clearly right now. Reduce it further.
Okay.
Keep doing that.
It's better now, right?
Yeah, good now. Just let it be. It's fine. It's fine. Then you can close that other small. Just expand your screen. This is fine. This is fine, Chinelo.
Okay, this is fine.
Yeah, just get on with it.
Can you hear me now? Can everyone hear me clearly now?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you slightly. Anyway, let me just share the honor code. Engineer Funmilola Ojelade, it is a singular honor to present you with this honor code certificate as a token, a very small token of our gratitude for this wonderful session, mentoring moment that you just shared with all of us. It benefited not only the young people here, we're grateful to those of them who are logged in, it also benefited all of us, the rest of us as well. God bless you, and we hope that you will answer our call when we call you again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my chairman, for having me. It was a real honor and pleasure to have made this presentation today. And I'm also happy to know that quite a number of people benefited from it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, Engineer Abosede, in the absence of any other comments or questions, perhaps we want to call it a wrap for today.
Okay, sir. Let me just briefly acknowledge, even though I've posted it on the chat box, that we have Engineer Nkechi Isigwe, a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and a founding member of APWEN, and Engineer Funmilola Ojelade. She's also a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and a founding member. Both of them are one of the 6 women that founded APWEN 37 years ago. They are here with us. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your unflinching support always. With the permission of the branch chairman, I would want to oblige you to please do this in no capacity to do it for our colleague that we just heard the sad news. For the fact that we are meeting as a branch, I believe it will be honorary to give him a respect of 1 minute silence, which I believe you should coordinate, sir.
Great, thank you. We didn't only lose a colleague today, we also lost a very close friend of ours, an active member of EI branch towards the end of December last year. So this is a good opportunity to observe a minute silent, beginning now, in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. May the soul of the faithful departed reside in the bosom of the Lord. In
Amen.
Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Amen.
Have a the chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Victoria Island Branch. We appreciate everyone for honoring this invitation and being part of this meeting. Thank you all and have a good evening.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Engineer John Audu, good evening, sir. Happy New Year.
Madam Ezioku, NSC. My president is online.
Yes, sir.
The president and chairman in council is online. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. No, this is the only place you can catch our president. So let us see his face now. Say hello to him. Engineer Babangada, I dey they greet you happy New Year. I dey here.
How are you? Where is my chairman? Where is my chairman? Let me see my chairman.
Alaji Ghana, will they greet you?
You have one engineer here too. They greet you.
Which engineer will they greet you?
My president, we are honored, sir.
Yes.
We dey well,
How are you doing?
We are fine. Oh, I dey here. I dey for Lagos. Oh, I'm very well, sir. Thank you. How is Abuja? Oh,
Abuja is managing us here.
we thank God. Oh, we thank God for everything.
Thank you, ma.
All right, sir.
Let me listen.